I'm going to introduce our guest speaker, and he's going to talk a little bit about his motivation to run for public office. So the time is yours.
Thank you. So my name's Ricardo Franco, or I go by Rico Franco, and I am running for Congress. For those of you that don't know, I spent my entire career in the private sector. Where I come from, money is king. In politics, power is what rules the day. Ultimately, it's your votes that count, and that's where power ultimately resides. When I decided to run for office, it was because I felt the own oppression from my own government. But more and more, what I saw personally was a government that just didn't get me. And it didn't understand the rest of the people that I would go out and meet. I then noticed when they started talking about their tax policies, it's a big, big lie. They tried to tell us that they were going to cut our taxes. It's like, well, wait a minute. For most of us, we're getting a little tax cut. On the corporate side, and for all the wealthy people, you're actually going to give a much bigger tax cut. But in reality, instead of 35%, what corporations were paying was roughly closer to about 18%. That's the effective tax rate. That's with all those loopholes and everything. They don't pay that much in taxes. That's corporate welfare. Now, when we're talking WIC or food stamps or EBT, you have people who have a legitimate need in our society, and the idea behind that is to try and get them a leg up. Well, we don't have enough money to fund the government anymore. We're going to get rid of Social Security. We're going to get rid of Medicare. We're going to get rid of EBT. We're going to get rid of student loans. We're going to get rid of mortgage assistance and everything else out there because we need to fund corporations instead. It doesn't work that way. And the problem with this is that both political parties play that game. The number one threat to our national security is not military, it's economic. All of that is stuff nobody was talking about. And when nobody talks about that, you feel that sense of oppression. And at some point, you break. But what really concerns me now is how are we teaching people to decipher fact from fiction? It's the same thing with politics. And I call this corporate welfare. What do they call it? Oh, it's a tax cut. It's a tax cut. It's a tax cut. They keep repeating it over and over and over again until they believe it's actually a tax cut. And for an older generation, they've been hearing it over and over again that they believe it's a tax cut. But I see younger people my age and younger that understand it's not a tax cut, that understand this has real ramifications for us in the future, and finally saying, you know what, enough is enough. That's where you get into the need for diversity of opinions. There's a theory there called groupthink, which says if you've got a lot of people all together to make decisions and you're not looking at things from a different viewpoint, you will miss something. The same thing happens in government. It's the lack of diversity in Congress which made me want to run. But then the oppression comes back again. I want to run for Congress. Why? Because we don't have enough young people in there. We have too many lawyers. We've got too many people who are career politicians. Well, you're going to be a lawmaker. Why don't you have a legal degree? Because everybody else there already does. Why do I need any more lawyers or people to tell me how to frame legislation? I want people in there who understand the water issues we have in the valley and the health issues when it comes to air and when it comes to our bottom line in our pockets. Poverty is about robbing from children the ability to dream. So when you are focused on just trying to survive every day, stealing bread and cookies is not that bad when you are starving. And if that's the only thing you're concerned about at that moment, how are you supposed to imagine how an investment of time at a four-year university will get you up there? That's why you don't like welfare? This is abuse in the system right here, and I'm tired of it. You get that pressure on you, and you have to act, and you have to do something. You're going to feel the oppression, but recognize the diversity and where you can change and be different, because that's what's going to end up getting you some power here to do what's right. Thank you very much, Travis.